Is Gojo Satoru overrated? Now, before you grab your pitchforks or start drafting your hate comments, let's get one thing straight. I get why people love Gojo. He's flashy, he's strong, he's got that effortless coolness that makes you want to binge every episode he's in. But let's be real, there's also a part of the fandom that takes the Gojo worship way too far. You know that type. The ones who act like Gojo is untouchable, that he's the pinnacle of anime characters, and anyone who disagrees just doesn't get it. But then there's the other side, the contrarians, the ones who say he's boring, he's OP, he's just a dude with white hair and a blindfold. What's the big deal? This side loves to tear him down, pointing out every flaw they can find and claiming he's just a shallow, over-designed character with no depth. So where's the truth? Like most things in life, it's somewhere in the middle. And in this video, I'm going to find it and present it to you with evidence as backup for my statements. I'll start by looking at where the argument comes from, why some fans love him, why some fans can't stand him, and why his character sparks such heated debates. Then we'll dive into what makes Gojo unique, whether it's his design, his powers, or his personality. We'll also look at how he appeals to both men and women in different ways, and why that dual appeal has made him such a phenomenon. Gojo Satoru, the man, the myth, the blindfolded meme machine. If you've been on the internet for more than 5 minutes, you've probably seen his smug face popping up in your feed. Whether you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen or not, he's everywhere. People are simping for him in the comments of every post that mentions him. Every anime edit has him. Gojo has become the guy, not just for Jujutsu Kaisen fans, but for anime culture as a whole. But with all that hype comes a whole lot of debate. Is Gojo Satoru the best anime character of all time, or is he just an overhyped power fantasy with a pretty face? Is he a genuinely well-written character, or is his popularity just the result of clever marketing, top-tier animation, and his meme-worthy one-liners? Today, we're diving headfirst into the Gojo Discourse to answer one burning question: is Gojo overrated? But let's take a step back. How did we even get here? Why has Gojo, a guy with blindfolds and smug one-liners, become one of the most talked about characters in modern anime? To answer that, we need to break down his character, his appeal, and why people can't seem to stop talking about him. Let's start with the obvious: Gojo's power. The guy isn't just strong, he's absurdly strong. From the moment he's introduced, it's clear that he's operating on a completely different level than everyone else in the show. Whether it's obliterating curses with a flick of his finger or casually explaining how his powers make him essentially untouchable, Gojo exists in a league of his own. For some fans, this is exactly why they love him. Gojo represents the ultimate power fantasy. He's the guy who doesn't just win, he dominates. He's confident because he has every reason to be, and watching him effortlessly take down his enemies is undeniably satisfying. Who doesn't love seeing a character completely flex on their opponents? But then there's the other side of the coin. For some fans, Gojo's power is his biggest flaw. They argue that his invincibility makes him boring, that his fights lack tension because you already know he's going to win. There's no struggle, no stakes, no reason to care beyond the flashy visuals. Here's the thing though, Gojo's strength isn't just about winning fights. It's a core part of his character and his role in the story. Yes, he's overpowered, but that power isolates him. He's so far ahead of everyone else that it's impossible for him to truly connect with them. He carries the burden of being the strongest, and that burden creates a fascinating dynamic. Think about it. How do you live a normal life when you're essentially a king among peasants? How do you relate to others when they're all so far beneath you? These are the questions that make Gojo interesting. Another concern that some of the fans have is how Gojo is overpowered, to the point where it undermines the tension in Jujutsu Kaisen. After all, if Gojo can defeat any enemy with ease, where's the suspense? This is a valid point, but it's also one that Jujutsu Kaisen addresses head-on. Gojo's strength isn't just a plot device. It's a critical part of the story's world-building. His power creates a sense of balance in a world filled with dangerous curses, but it also highlights the vulnerability of others. When Gojo is sealed in the Shibuya incident arc, his absence is felt immediately. Without him, the other characters are forced to step up and face challenges they would otherwise leave to him. This demonstrates that Gojo's power doesn't diminish the stakes, it raises them. His invincibility creates a safety net, and when that net is removed, the tension skyrockets. But Gojo's appeal doesn't stop at his power. He's also one of the most visually striking characters in anime today. Let's break this down. The blindfold. The blindfold is iconic. It's not just a practical choice to limit his six eyes ability, it's a statement. It gives him an air of mystery, makes him look effortlessly cool, and has sparked endless fan theories and memes. The white hair. White-haired anime boys have a long history of being fan favorites, and Gojo is no exception. The hair adds to his ethereal, almost otherworldly vibe, making him stand out in every scene. The confidence. From his cocky smirks to his teasing personality, everything about Gojo screams charisma. He's the guy who doesn't just walk into a room, he owns it. One of the most intriguing aspects of Gojo Satoru as a character is how meticulously he's designed to appeal to both men and women, something not every anime character achieves. Usually, characters in anime tend to lean toward one demographic, a power fantasy for male audiences or an emotional or romantic ideal for female viewers. Gojo, however, effortlessly bridges this gap, and this dual appeal plays a huge role in his overwhelming popularity. To fully explore this, let's break down how Gojo resonates with both genders and address the counterpoints that often arise with these discussions. Gojo's appeal to men boils down to three main things: power, confidence, and charisma. These traits are classic ingredients for a male power fantasy. First and foremost, Gojo's power is unparalleled. Men love overpowered characters because they embody an ideal of absolute dominance and control. In a medium where strength often dictates respect, Gojo is the pinnacle. He's the strongest sorcerer alive in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, and he's fully aware of it. His strength doesn't just intimidate his enemies, it redefines the entire landscape of the show. When Gojo steps onto the battlefield, you know he's going to win. There's a thrill in watching him casually obliterate enemies with techniques that seem effortless to him, but would break lesser sorcerers. Secondly, his confidence is infectious. Gojo doesn't just know he's the best, he flaunts it unapologetically. This level of ego would usually come off as obnoxious, but Gojo manages to make it fun. He's cocky, but he's earned it. For male viewers, there's something incredibly satisfying about seeing a character who knows he's untouchable and isn't afraid to rub it in his enemies' faces. His confidence also serves as a shield. He's so self-assured that he makes even the tensest moments feel like a walk in the park. Finally, Gojo's charisma and humor make him impossible to dislike. He doesn't take himself too seriously, which adds layers to his personality. His snarky comments and playful antics balance out his overwhelming power, making him feel human despite his overpowered abilities. Male viewers often find themselves drawn to characters like Gojo because they want to embody that same level of coolness, power, and charm. On the flip side, Gojo has an entirely different type of appeal for women. His design, personality, and interactions with other characters are carefully crafted to check off many of the boxes that female audiences tend to love in male characters. To start with, let's address the obvious. Gojo is ridiculously good-looking. His sharp jawline, striking white hair, and signature blindfold make him one of the most visually iconic characters in modern anime. When he takes off his blindfold to reveal those stunning blue eyes, it's a literal jaw-drop moment for many fans. This is no accident. His appearance is designed to capture attention, and it works brilliantly. But Gojo isn't just eye candy. His personality also mirrors traits often found in shoujo anime male leads. He's playful, a little mischievous, and just aloof enough to seem unattainable. These qualities create an air of mystery around him that makes him even more appealing. Women are drawn to his sense of humor and how he can switch from playful teasing to intense seriousness in an instant. It gives him depth and makes his interactions feel layered and unpredictable. Gojo's duality of strength and compassion also resonates with female viewers. While he's undeniably powerful and sometimes borderline arrogant, he also cares deeply about his students and the people he's sworn to protect. He's the type of character who can destroy an entire battlefield one moment and crack a joke with his students the next. This balance makes him feel approachable despite his overwhelming power. Now let's address the inevitable criticism. Isn't liking a character for their looks or their power fantasy traits shallow? The short answer is no. Everyone connects with characters in different ways, and what appeals to one group of fans might not resonate with another. Take Gojo's good looks, for example. Male fans might argue that his appeal to female viewers is shallow, that his popularity is largely driven by his looks rather than his substance as a character. Let's be real for a sec. Male fans are often just as susceptible to aesthetic appeal. If a female character has a big enough cake or an overly cutesy design, male fans will flock to her without a second thought. So why shouldn't female viewers have a character like Gojo to fawn over? Similarly, the argument that Gojo is just a power fantasy doesn't hold up when you consider how many male viewers flock to other overpowered characters like Goku or Madara. If male fans can enjoy characters for being ridiculously strong, then it's only fair to acknowledge that Gojo serves the same purpose for many viewers. His strength isn't a flaw, it's a feature. What makes Gojo truly special is how he takes traits that traditionally appeal to specific demographics and blends them together seamlessly. For example, his cockiness and strength are classic shonen elements, but his charm and good looks could easily place him in a shoujo anime. This blending is part of what makes Gojo so universally appealing. He's not just a male power fantasy or a romantic ideal, he's both and more. Gege Akutami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, didn't design Gojo by accident. Every aspect of his character, his appearance, his personality, his abilities, was carefully crafted to maximize his appeal. Gojo is a character built to be the perfect storm, a fusion of traits that ensures he'll resonate with as many fans as possible. From a marketing perspective, this is genius. Gojo's universal appeal makes him a goldmine for merchandise, fan art, and social media buzz. By combining traits from both shonen and shoujo archetypes, Gojo becomes a character who feels larger than life while still being incredibly fun to watch. For male fans, Gojo represents the ultimate power fantasy. He's strong, confident, and effortlessly cool. For female fans, he's a shoujo protagonist come to life. Handsome, funny, and charming in a way that feels tailor-made to make hearts race. This dual appeal is part of what makes Gojo such a standout character. Ultimately, Gojo's good looks and humor are integral to his character. They're not just superficial traits, they're key to what makes him so memorable and likable. His appearance draws you in, but his personality keeps you invested. For fans who criticize him as being too perfect or too shallow, it's worth considering how much thought and effort went into his design. Gojo is a character who was built to be loved, and there's no shame in that. In fact, it's a testament to the skill of the creators that they were able to create a character who could appeal to such a broad audience. Every successful anime or manga needs a character who captures the spirit of the series, someone who acts as its emblem. For Dragon Ball, it's Goku. For One Piece, it's Luffy. But in Jujutsu Kaisen, that character isn't the protagonist, Yuji Itadori, it's Gojo Satoru. He's the face of the franchise, the character most associated with the series, and for good reason. So, is Gojo overrated? The short answer? It depends on who you ask. Overrated suggests that something or someone receives more praise or attention than it deserves. But here's the catch. What counts as deserving is entirely subjective. For some fans, Gojo's overwhelming strength, striking design, and larger-than-life personality make him the epitome of what anime characters should be. To these fans, he's not overrated. He's properly rated. Others, however, might argue that his constant presence in Jujutsu Kaisen discussions and merchandise overshadows other characters, or that his appeal leans too heavily on surface-level traits like his looks or power. Calling Gojo overrated often says more about the person making the claim than it does about Gojo himself. If you prefer grounded, nuanced characters, Gojo's flashy, over-the-top nature might not be your thing. If you're someone who loves high-energy, unapologetically confident characters, he might be your favorite. The beauty of anime is that it caters to such a wide variety of tastes, and Gojo's polarizing nature is proof of that. The problems that rise from this debate often stems from JJK fans on Reddit and Twitter. There is a vocal minority of fans who are hardcore Gojo glazers and another vocal minority who are hardcore Gojo haters. These minorities don't even represent 5% of the JJK fanbase, but they contribute to 90% of the comments and critiques online that the anime has. I am willing to bet $100 that you, my dear viewer, just enjoy Gojo. You may like him a lot because he is an entertaining, good-looking character. You may not like him a lot because you find his hardcore fans very annoying and pushy with their glazing. But today, no one can deny that Gojo is one of the most recognizable anime characters of the past decade, and his popularity has helped propel Jujutsu Kaisen to international success. And at the end of the day, whether Gojo is overrated or not wouldn't matter much, because that wouldn't change the fact that Goku solos the entire JJK verse.